Yo, what's going on, guys? Ron here, aka Neos, and today, guys, I am bringing y'all some local duels review, basically. So, in this video here, this is going to be my round one against my opponent. This is against my buddy Pablo, very good friend of mine, very good player. He is on a brand new deck that he actually doesn't know a whole lot about at the time that we're playing. So cut him some slack. Like I said, he's a really big Yummy player. He's very good with Yummy, but this is him on the new Tribrigade stuff, and he doesn't know how all of it ties into together. So I ask that you forgive him for however he plays and whatnot. So, cause like I said, we all got to start somewhere, right? And the best case is coming to locals and playing. So we're gonna pull up the thing here. I won the dice roll here. I want to point out, so I get to go first. Looking at my hand here, as you can see, there is a Medius, a trap card, a spell card, a Fortunia, and then there is another card in my hand. I think that's Theorealize. So I drew the one of Fortunia, I drew the one of Elf Note Continuous Spell, and then I drew the one of Elf Note's Trap, Continuous Trap. Really tough hand. Luckily, I was going first. Yeah, because it was really bad. So I go ahead and I Theorealize here for cost, sending the Medius. Pretty good card. Can't really complain about that here. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to resolve its effect. I'm going to look at my opponent's top deck. I'm pretty sure it's like Fallen the Virtuous or something like that. It was a spell card. I know that. So I chose to put on the bottom. So I chose to Medius of here to summon from himself from grave by putting my own Medius back. And then I was like, effect. He was like, that's good. So pretty strong. Here I'll go ahead and resolve his effect. I'm going to special the Patron. And then I'm like, anything here? He's like, nope, you're good. And then I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and choose the Synchro. I'm going to make Armades here, and this is going to trigger my Power Patron Engrave. And I was like, effect. I made sure to banish Medius because he came back from grave. And he's like, yep, that's good. And he's literally looking at a combo guide right now. By the way, I want to point that out. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, he's literally looking up a combo guide right now on how to play the deck. So here, I'm just kind of like doing my thing, and I'm like, okay, do I extend here further? I'm like, what are my options? Because like I said, my hand is not that good. So I chose to grab Lucinia here because I haven't normaled yet, so I can grab another Patron if I need to. And then I'm like, Requiem, and he's like, wait, hold on, I got a response. He's like, Ash, and he's like, that's like my only play. He's like, go ahead, and I was like, all right. So basically, I guess his only hand trap out of the way. And he's just like, go ahead and go crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's where he's right there. He's like, go ahead. He's like I said, he's actively watching a combo guide right now. So I'm like, Lucinia Special, Lucinia Search, grab out this, and then I'm like, activate I activate the trap card here because I thought it was the spell because I had shuffled it in my hand, and I'm like, oh, that's not right. Let me fix that real quick. I was like, spell card. Nice. I was like, gosh darn it. Not that it matters because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be setting the trap card anyways. So this is just get an extra body on field because I already had the Tinia. And I want to clear the center main zone. So I go ahead and special. I go effect place. And he's like, yep, that's good. I go ahead and I'm going to pitch the other Tinia in my hand here for another Synchro Summon. Because I'm like, I just kind of have to. What I could have done is I could have specialed here and then like I could have made a light fiend if I wanted to, but there was no point because I'd already gone through Requiem, so there was just no point. So I use the trap card. I go ahead, I reborn the Patron, I Synchro Summon, I make sure to put in the center zone here the Seraphim, and then I go ahead and Seraphim, I go ahead and reborn, and then I Synchro again, and this is going to make me the Dragster, right? So pretty good board. I have the Spell Trap Negate, the Reborn. The only issue is like I said, I had 3 1-ofs in my hand, so I didn't get to search them any like follow up. Those aren't hand traps. Like all that's on my board is this because all the stuff was in my hand. So really unfortunate. I made the best of the extra resources that I could. So yeah, it would have been nice to have like Fiendsmith stuff, but so be it. He's like, at this point we're just like talking. He's like, what do I know? And I was like, I've got nothing in hand. I was like, because I had both of these. He's like, yeah. I'm like right here, and he's like, oh, that's bad. He's like, that sucks. Draw for turn, and he's like, all right, standby main. And I was like, he's like, what is it? He's like, what does this do? And I was like, it's just the spell and the trap, and then these two monsters, which you know what they do. He's like, okay. And then he's just reading cards. He's like, effect, and I'm like, sure. I was like, I'll chain here. I think chain to special from grave, and he's like, yep. He's like, are you doing that first? I was like, no, because like you have priority in main. I get to special Lucenia. I choose the special Lucenia for in case I want to bounce like one of his names back to the hand. That way, in case he has like an extender or whatever, or, something like that. He's like, effect. I'm like, that's fine. He's like, what does this do again? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it sends, and it sends Nerval, which he's like, yep, that's exactly what it does. He's like, send Nerval. And then I'm like, Nerval effect to search. He's like, I don't think I can because I have the card. And he reads it, and he's like, yep, I can't do that because I have it. And I was like, oh, that sucks. So, yep. I'm like, that's fine. And he's like, yeah. I was like, that just sucks. Pretty unfortunate, to be honest. So here he's going to go ahead and I think he normal summons. And I was like, is that normal or special? And he's like, I think he's like, I have to normal it. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Does it trigger on normal summon? And like I said, he's reading it here because like I'm somewhat unfamiliar with the Tribrigade stuff. I kind of know how it plays, but I don't know exactly. And I was like, on normal summon, effect to bounce. And he's like, oh, that's good. So here he goes. I don't think he responds with anything. He's like, that's fine. I'm pretty sure because he just lets it go and resolve here. Yeah. Bounce it, and then I think he just scoops because like he should have started with the Cupsy and then continued, but yeah, me bouncing it is just really bad. And then here we're talking about he's like, I Cupsy, and then he's like, you bounce it, it's fine because I have surprise. I'm like, no, I have a negate for surprise. And like it's just like overall just bad, unfortunately for his hand. So here we're gonna go ahead and shuffle side deck, and then he is gonna go first. So go ahead. He starts with the Radiant Typhoon package, so I'm like, that's pretty cool. I think this is Search Monster here, which gives him. I was like, you need to go for Aldam because Aldam searches you Swen. That way Swen can search you the other spell, and then that can make you your either the Xyz monster or your Link 2. So he like here he's just figuring out which one he needs to grab, which he looks at Swen first, which obviously it's not going to be Swen. So he grabs Aldam. He reads Aldam, and he's like, all right. And then I go ahead and like, I think I Fua on Res here or something. I Fua'd him here on Res to keep him off of like, big board basically. So he goes special, and I'm like, yeah, you're going to go search here. And like I said, I'm trying to help him out because like I was like trying to figure out what he plays, and I'm like, yep, that's the card that you want to search. Because like it can search MST or whatnot. And I was like, so then I was like, here you can make the link, and then you can use that to search, and then you can go, if you have MST, you can like chain to pop it or whatnot. And yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to like help him out the best that I can here from like what knowledge I have. So yeah, he goes here, and he goes like link for 2, and then he was like, it triggers, and I'm like, yeah, it triggers to search on the summon for MST. And then I was like explaining to him that he could like use this MST, pop it so it could reset, and then chain block this, which isn't that big of a deal, but like it's important to like chain block other stuff sometimes. So he goes, he uses to summon back because he already had the other MST because he only plays 2. So I'm like, that's fine, and I'm like, this will trigger on a new chain, and he like places the mandate, and then he goes ahead here and he continues. He goes normal this, and I'm like, sure. And then obviously he's gonna link summon here. I draw into a Veiler, which is really good because this stops him from extending. I'm like, I'm gonna Veiler this, and he's like, oh, it's pretty good. And then here he's like, oh, I messed up because he's like, I have Lolly, or not Lolly. He has Marshmallow in hand, so I'm like, it's fine, just take it back. Let's say you normaled Marshmallow instead. Yeah, so I let him do that, and then he's like, special summon. Or yeah, no. I think does he make the bird here, or he makes like another link too? I think. Yeah, he makes SP. He's like SP banish like yeah the Veiler, and I was like sure. He goes special. I'm like that's fine. He's like set to pass, right? So I know one is MST, technically, and then so also I draw an Ash Blossom here, which is not super good. He's like checking to make sure he can't Band-Aid. I'm like, you only have 2. Needs to target 3 to shuffle back. So like I said, we're just like I said, like confirming board state here. We have the Yummy stuff. We've got the SP. I'm like cool, and then here I'm like I go imperm target. And I'm like, yeah, and then he's figuring out this, so he's like, effect to target. I was like, you can either target Mandate or one of the other cards. So I think he chooses to target the Mandate because, like, he just doesn't have another negate live. Which I don't think this is perfect. He probably could have popped, like, one of his other cards, like, if he had the Reborn or whatever, I forget what it's called, to reset itself. That way he could draw on the res here. But, yeah, so he's like, effect negate. I'm like that's fine. This is gonna turn off or keeps me from turning off the Yummy stuff. And then here I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start with Fiendsmith using Engraver for Tract, and then I already had Lurie in hand, so I get to search follow up basically. Like searching the other guy's not terrible. I'm like here anything on the summon. He's like yep I'm gonna synchro, and I'm like pretty good. So in my hand here I have also Lacrima. So I have Lurie on field. I have an extra Engraver plus Lacrima, which is kind of unfortunate, but not terrible. He chooses to book my my Lurie here, which is fair, right? Because now I can't summon this back. He knows I don't play the Fusion Lacrima, so he didn't think there would be a way for me to like out this. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I was like thinking here on what I wanted to do, because I'm like, if I trigger something, then he can like Cookie bounce back, summon the Lolly. Lolly can banish my Engraver. Like, it's just really strong. And then he can also, like, SP away, like, one of my other stuff. It's, like, kind of annoying. So I'm just, like, trying to figure out how to play around it. So I'm like, I think I choose, like, just special Lucina here. And I'm like, special? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, battle phase? And he's like, oh. This is where he's like, oh. I was like, yep. And then he's like, yeah, that's good. And he's like just checking his graveyard, make sure he can't do anything about it. And I'm like, I'm gonna punch your cookie, and he's like, yep, pretty good. And then I was like, main phase 2 effect, and then he goes imperm. I'm like, that is fine. And here I believe I choose to tract to fuse summon at this point, and I'm like, effect to fuse. And at this point he's like, what? And I was like, fusion summon. And he's like, so he like looks at my graveyard. Because he sees this, he knows I have this, so he's like I said, he knows I don't play the Fusion Lacrima because I prioritize like the other synchros. So he's like, surely, like he either thinks I think he thought like I was on a different build where I was playing the Fusion Lacrima. So he's like weighing like pros and cons if it was like worth it or not. And he was like, sure, I guess. He's like, that's fine. I think he chains SP to banish this as well. But he's like I said, he's super confused at this point. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, he just lets it go, and then he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I'm like, yeah, and so here I'm like, I go effect to send this, and I'm like chain link 1. I go shuffle back the Lacrima here for cost. That way I can put it back in the deck. And obviously now I have, like I said, the, what's it called here? The Requiem. So I go effect, I'm going to like target SP, and he goes like chain. I don't know why he did this, because he went chain target the Requiem, and I'm just like chain Requiem. And I was like, it doesn't banish. And he's like, I know, I'm sending it to grave. And I was like, you should have targeted this. And he's like, whatever, basically. He's like, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, okay. So I go ahead and resolve here. I'm like, I summon Lacrima. I'm like, Lacrima effect. He's like, that's fine. Here I go ahead. I think I send Engraver, so I can put back the just to like fill my graveyard, and then I choose to obviously bring back Engraver by shuffling the Desiree, right? So I get to fusion it twice. So I'm like, Rez, anything here? He was like, nope. And I'm like, I know he shouldn't be on Nibiru, so I go like effect, and I just go like to try to like see if I could shuffle something bounce back, but I have to do this. So I'm like, anything here? He's like, nope. I'm like, Link for 2. I'm just trying to do this because he has back row, right? I could make like Chaos Angel, but this is just better. I'm like, should still force something out if it's like Imperm or even like Fall on the Virtuous anyways. So here I go ahead and fuse with 3. I choose to fuse with like, I think like 2 Engravers and then a Lurie to try to like replenish my Fiendsmith stuff because I still have a Tract Engrave. Or in my deck, I mean. So I want to keep the thing live, and I'm like, anything to summon? He's like, nope. I'm like, Link. I'm like, Link for 3. He's like, yep, that's fine. And I'm like, effect to equip. Yep. And then I'm like, effect to equip. And he's like, yep. So just super big Desiree here, 5800 attack, 5 negates attached to it. Pretty screwed. And then I'm like, normal summon Medius effect. And I was like, special from deck or search. He's like, that's fine. He goes back to watching his video because, like I said, he doesn't really have anything else. I don't think at this point. I don't think these cards are really live, or not. They're not like interruptions for me. So I make Seraphim. I'm like effect to search. This gets me access to Tinia. Tinia is gonna place the spell card, and at this point it's just like full board. I'm like, I send Medius here because he's a free body. He can come back later. I'm like, I'm just speedrunning it at this point because, like I said, he basically like I have no interruptions. So here, like I said, I've already gone battle phase, so I can't do anything about that. Here, I think I Seraphim to Reborn, and then I don't know if I made Dragster or Crystal Wing, if I remember correctly. I think I made Dragster, which is obviously still really good. I was like debating here on, like I said, whether or not, but since he's on a spell heavy deck, I figured the double spell negate would be more valuable than the monster. The monsters don't really bother me. Like I said, it's a power spell deck, so I figured being able to stop the power spells was the most important. So here I'm like, I go ahead and Reborn off of I believe the trap card here. It was either the trap card or the or this. I could not remember. One or the other. But I do choose to make the Crystal Wing on top of it. Here, I thought about putting in the EMC, but it's just not worth it in case I need to like relink this for Requiem next turn. But yeah, like this board here is just like super, like almost unbreakable. There's 5 negates attached to this. There's a negate attached to this, a negate attached to this, and a negate attached to this. So we're talking at 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4, like even if it's just one card on the field, or a monster, just negate, right? Like this doesn't have to be on the field. This doesn't have to be on the field, but these two have to be on the field. But like I said, it just doesn't really matter. And then this also says just Reborn Seraphim, which is also like really good here. So here I'm like, and then here the way I sequence this, I figured that I could do I could swap their positions, because of the way, like I said, the way I sequence was bad, because I could have made this and then made this later. So yeah, I swapped the positions. I was like, is this okay if I swap them? He's like, that's fine. So I just did this because in case he needs to like make Typhon, like he can't just like bounce this, because this is in the center. If he goes battle, he can't attack over it. He has to bounce this instead. And then if he goes battle, then he can punch it, and then I still have the negate. So this is just like to check Typhon basically. So he's like, yep. And he's like, effect to special from the grave. And I was like, I'm gonna like negate and destroy. He's like, that's fine. And then, like I said, I'm pretty sure he just concedes at this point. Yeah, he goes effect. Yeah, and like I said, it's just game over at this point. So GG's to Pablo. Well played. Really, really strong showing from the deck here. And Yummy, hopefully when he gets like Yummy Tribrigade all figured out and everything, it'll be really good. But like I said, he's still learning, so cut my boy some slack. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and make myself bigger so y'all can see me. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Before y'all go, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell down below. That way you know when I post more content. And I will catch y'all in the next video, guys. Peace.